Welcome to a new problem. This time we have two trees, one on the left and then the other one on the right. So this is a simple diagram, and we have there's a branch right there, and then there's also another branch, and so we can assume that there's a rope with a tension, so it's holding on to a backpack, and the second string is tied up to the right side. We get to see that this backpack has a mass of 23 kilograms, and also we get to see that there's a tension on the string. Okay, there's a uniform tension on the string, so two cases happens here. There's a bear that comes in and grabs the bag and is pulling it downwards. So this is a force being pulled downwards like that, and the angle that the bag makes with the horizontal, this, if you think about this angle right here, we have to emphasize the angle. That angle theta is 27 degrees dipping, okay, with the bear. But without the bear, the angle theta becomes equivalent to 15 degrees. Also, with the bear, the tension T is doubled. Okay, so it's almost like you have T naught without the bear, and then with the bear you have T, but then T is twice T naught. That's how you're seeing the problem, because this tension right here, it's double as you hang downwards. So what we want to do in this problem is we want to compute the force that the bear is exerting on the backpack. That's what we want to do. We want to compute the force that the bear is exerting on the backpack, and that force happens to be acting right here downwards. We can call that FB, the force due to the bear. So we'll go ahead and have a similar diagram, but this time this is a free body diagram, where there are two similar angles that are dipping from the horizontal. So those ones, we're calling them theta. And then this is the point where the backpack is hanging downwards. So, this is, the weight of the backpack is mg. And then also the bear is acting on the string tension. So it's pulling downwards this force FB. We're going to account for it right there. FB. So there are two forces pulling downwards in the vertical direction, but then also something special happens. We get to two parts. So if this tension is T naught, this is the original tension, and this one is also T naught, you can see that sine theta is equivalent to opposite, and we're going to call this opposite of adjacent, or rather over hypotenuse, opposite over hypotenuse. So then the opposite becomes the hypotenuse times T naught. And so the opposite becomes hypotenuse is actually hypotenuse times sine of theta, sorry. Hypotenuse times sine of theta. That's our intention. Okay, so this is hypotenuse, which is T naught, times the sine of theta. Now, this side we have T naught sine theta, and then this other side we have T naught sine theta. So if you combine both of them to form a single opposing force, it means that the tension that's holding the weight of the backpack and being resisted by the force supplied by the bear, that tension is twice T naught sine of theta, and it's going to be very helpful in solving the problem. Going upwards, we have positive, and then going downwards, we have negative. And then to the right, it's positive. To the left, it's negative. Those are key numbers, key critical numbers to remember. On the next page, we have a system in equilibrium. So we're saying the sum of forces in the y direction is 0. So we know 2 twice T naught sine of theta minus mg equals to 0. This is prior to the bear pulling downwards. So we don't have those two forces. We only have this one, the weight of the backpack acting. This one is going to come, the force supplied by the bear is going to come in the second part of the problem. So again, we get to see that in simplifying this problem, we want to solve for this tension. So we're saying twice T naught sine of theta equals to mg. And then we divide both sides by 2 sine theta over 2 sine theta. So the tension, the initial tension is mg over 2 sine theta, assuming that there's no force being supplied by the bear. It's only the weight of the backpack that's acting up. So this is 23 kilograms times 9.81 meters per second squared. And then we want to divide that by 2 sine 15 degrees. Remember, if you're going back, you're seeing that without the bear pulling downwards, the angle it makes with the horizontal, this angle right here, is 15 degrees. And so we can say that T naught, if you simplify that, T naught equals to 435.8 newtons. That's what T naught is. That's going to be helpful on this part of the problem, because in the second part, the tension is doubled. So just before we forget that, going to the next page, that tension, T, becomes equivalent to twice T naught. So that's twice 435.8 newtons. That's something to remember. The sum of forces in the y direction is still going to be 0. And so twice the tension, twice T naught, twice the tension, yes, times sine of theta minus mg minus the force by the bear is 0. All we're saying is that now this tension has been replaced by twice T sine theta, where T creates an angle theta equivalent to 27 degrees. And so this T is different from T naught. The tension by T naught is the one responsible for dipping the string at an angle of 15 degrees with the horizontal, but the tension T, which is the second tension, is responsible for dipping the angle at 27 degrees. So again, our goal is to solve for the force by the bear. So we move things around and see that this is going to be mg minus 2t sine of theta. We already know what t is. So this is going to be so FB, well, actually we have to reverse the whole thing. So FB is actually 2t sine of theta minus mg. So all we're doing, we're moving this FB to the right and it becomes a positive, as you can see. And so T is twice T naught, so 2 T naught sine of theta minus mg, and this zeroes out to becomes 2 twice times 435.8 newtons. Sine of theta changes from 15 degrees to 27 degrees because now the bear is pulling downwards. And then we subtract the weight of the backpack, 23 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared, and we're going to see that the force by the bear, supplied by the bear, is going to become 566 newtons when you simplify that. So those are two forces. This is the force applied by the bear. Okay, that's the force applied by the bear. So going back, we get to see that there was a backpack that was hanging from the middle and it had a weight of 23 kilograms. Initially, it was making an angle of 15 degrees with the horizontal, as long as the bear was not pulling downwards. And using a free body diagram, we get to see that the tension supplied by the string is equivalent to 435.8 newtons. And then we go ahead and introduce the second force, which is the force by the bear pulling downwards. So your sum of forces in the y is 0 because of equilibrium, and so we have 2t sine theta minus mg equals to 0. So FB, 2t sine theta minus mg, you simplify that, you get 566 newtons. So hope you enjoyed the problem. Feel free to send any questions or comments, and have a wonderful day. Okay, thanks, bye.